Sometimes I think a little bit about Jonathan Huberdeau's contract and how, since he has come to the Flames, he has just not offered this team what they need. And it's just been such a weird setback for this player. Like, he used to be sick, man. When he was playing for Florida, like, we're talking about a 100-point guy. And it's interesting that people think that, hey, if you get rid of a 100-point guy, you're just going to be worse. That didn't happen to Florida, and maybe it doesn't happen to Toronto either, but we'll see. But again, Huberdeau was such a great offensive player, and he just has not proven himself to Flames fans or the organization. And I'm thinking to myself, a lot of people looked at that play, for example, where Huberdeau got injured, right? And they look at that play when he was going to the net, and I had some of my buddies like being like, why did he go to the net like that? It's preseason. I'm like, man, this guy thinks he has a lot to prove in this season, and he does have a lot to prove in this season. But we're going to be talking about this, plus some interesting decisions by the Calgary Flames. But guys, welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you could make sure to hit that subscribe button, it would be so greatly appreciated. And thank you so much to those that are already supporting me as well. It is very, very humbling. And it's interesting. Here we have another quote. General Manager Craig Conroy told reporters Thursday that Huberdeau was still being evaluated to determine the extent of his injury, which occurred when he collided with Vancouver goalie Kevin Lankinen in the third period of an 8-home loss. Close quote. So the biggest thing with this with me was, first off, I was actually it's weird. I know I say I don't want players to get injured in preseason, and it kind of pisses me off, which I will still hold is true. When it comes to Huberdeau, I think that a player like Huberdeau actually has to play like it's like he's almost a rookie. I know how weird that might sound, but this guy has not proven himself to the Calgary Flames organization. I don't care if you have a different opinion than that. It's just a fact. He just hasn't. Okay, he hasn't done nearly what he needs to. And with his comments of, oh, I just didn't feel like skating, which I think people took the wrong way. I don't know if you saw those comments. It's just kind of like, I think I understand why he went to the net like this, because he went straight to the net, and you got to give this guy credit. I was like, man, it's preseason. But then I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's Huberdeau. He probably has a lot to prove. So I actually think that there's a reason as to why he did that. Because it is crazy to me, man. Florida Panthers, 150 points, 61 points in 55 games, 78 points in 69 games for the Panthers. Like, when he was playing for the Panthers, he was consistently a well above a point per game player. And then he just came to Calgary, and then 55 points, 52 points, 62 points, which 62 points was his best season. But I'm sorry, I will always say this. If he was able to perform like he did in Florida for Calgary, that would be a huge boost for them, or maybe they would be able to get rid of that contract. But honestly, you need veteran leadership anyway, and I think that Calgary needs players that want to stick around in Calgary. So it would be really, really good if Jonathan Huberdeau could get back on track, and honestly, they need him to play hard this season for them. What do you guys think the point projection is going to be for Huberdeau this season? I think, honestly, I'll probably say about 60, 65 points. I would love to see him get like 80 points, and maybe even the Calgary Flames compete for a playoff spot, even if that might not actually be the best thing for the long-term health of the organization. I wanted to shift gears here, and I wanted to talk about Devin Cooley as well, and Prosvetov. And I wanted to talk about the choice to pretty much, they're pretty much cutting bait with their Russian goalie, and I think it's a pretty interesting choice. Now, my biggest worry would be their depth in goaltending. I don't really love either of the options that they're using behind Dustin Wolf. Like, I think Dustin Wolf is a superstar. I think that they're going to play Dustin Wolf a lot of games. Like, I think he's a superstar in the way that, like, he's going to play a lot of games, and he's probably going to be well above average. So my take is, like, maybe they're not that worried about their backup goaltending. Maybe they just feel that, like, you know what, it's a development year. We don't have to do anything, whatever. I would have been okay with them going after a Connor Ingram or something like that. Like, when he became available, I know the Edmonton Oilers traded for him, but I thought to myself, would that be an option for them? And here we have a very interesting quote. One of the few actual battles for a roster spot in the goaltending department in training camp this year was in Calgary, which didn't have a clear number two behind Dustin Wolf. The two contenders are longtime farmhand Devin Cooley and an international free agent signing Ivan Provitstov. I always struggle with that guy's name. The latter hit waivers on Thursday, signaling the 28-year-old Cooley will appear on an opening night roster for the first time and begin the season as Wolves' backup. Close quote. I'm not really sure if either of these options are the best. I mean, if you look at both of their stats, I mean, if you look at the Prosvetov, he has, I believe, a career .881 save percentage. Now you could argue that it's in a bit of a, it's not, he's not like had the hugest sample size, right? You got to understand that he doesn't have the hugest sample size, but it's like that worries you a little bit. And Devin Cooley's numbers are really not that good either. And you might be saying, well, I mean, Pixel Plus, I mean, Connor Ingram isn't that great either, but he actually has some pretty okay statistics, right? Like, he actually has some statistics that you look at and you're like relatively above 900 consistent stats. And that's what I look for with a goalie. Can he be at least average to above average and give you some level of consistency? I think when goalies are consistently below 900 and consistently below the league average, that really, really does kill teams. Especially because the Calgary Flames don't really score that much. They're not a very high-scoring team. And to finish off this video, I did want to talk about Zayne Parekh and the coach's comments that he believes that Zayne Parekh's game is growing with confidence. I heard some people online saying that they didn't think that Zayne Parekh has had that great of a camp. I haven't minded his game for Calgary, to be honest with you. I don't think he's been game breaking, but I think that I don't think that preseason matters very much. I know it matters for rookies, but I think that we get a much better look at a player once he starts playing games that actually matter. That's when NHL players actually stand up. And sometimes it's weird, man. Some guys just have a period of time where they might not look perfect and they might not stand out that much. I mean, he actually did stand out in a couple of plays. He, one of the last games I was watching, he was really walking the blue line quite well. And I think that he should probably make Calgary's roster. Right now, Calgary's roster is trimmed down to 24 players, and the only waiver-exempt players are Zayne Parekh and Gridin. So we're looking at probably both of those players. I think that probably they're going to work out both of those players probably making the Calgary Flames roster. You know, it's funny. I do think, though, when Parekh actually was playing in the NHL, he played that one game. He got a goal, and he had like a +3 rating, I believe. I think he played like 21 minutes in that game too, and that was an actual regular season game. So he actually looked pretty good. I want him to play in the NHL this year. Like, I want this player to play in the NHL, get 20 minutes a night. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's not going to destroy this guy's confidence by any means. I personally don't think so anyway, so I would probably start him in the NHL. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to leave this video here. If you can make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, guys, and make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.